You are listening to the FEBIS podcast, and my name is Sylvia Amaral. To know more about FEBIS, visit our web at www.febis.org and follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Please subscribe to our podcast and stay tuned. Welcome to another episode of the FEBIS podcast. Today, with the support of Stephanie Verilac-Marsan, FEBIS Institutional and Regulatory Affairs Coordinator.
Hello, Sylvia, and hello, everyone listening.
Well, today we are going to make an experiment, and as an introduction to the real topic, before I would like to share some input with you about innovation in business information. Let me read this for you. Innovation in business information refers to the development and implementation of new technologies, processes, and strategies that enable businesses to collect, analyze, and use information more effectively to achieve their goals. Here are some examples of innovation in business information. Big data analytics. Businesses can collect large amounts of data from various sources, including social media, customer interactions, and sales transactions, and use advanced analytics tools to extract valuable insights from these data. Another point is artificial intelligence. AI technologies such as machine learning and natural language processing can help businesses automate and improve decision-making processes, optimize operations, and deliver personalized customer experiences. Cloud computing. Cloud computing allows businesses to store and access data and applications remotely, reducing the need for expensive hardware and infrastructure. So to make it shorter, let me just mention a few more, such blockchain technology, virtual and augmented reality, cybersecurity, data visualization, and dashboard tools. So in summary, innovation in business information is critical for organizations to stay competitive and succeed in today's fast-paced digital economy. By leveraging new technologies, processes, and strategies, businesses can collect, analyze, and use data more effectively to drive growth, reduce costs, and improve customer experiences. Well, Stephanie and broader audience, does this text make sense to you? Do you agree with the points I mentioned?
Wow, Sylvia, I think what you just read is a very good summary of some of the key trends and future developments that we're seeing in business information. So, yes, it's perfectly valid for innovation in business information.
I'm happy to hear that, but let me tell you that this is a chat GPT generated opinion. So, what do you say now?
Well, you see, this live example is a perfect way to show two things regarding ChatGPT and the AI language processes services that are linked to ChatGPT. I mean, I'm not going to enter into the whole fuss and hype that we've been hearing about ChatGPT over the past months, but it really shows two things. The first thing is that the technology evolves so quickly that the legal and the regulatory world cannot keep the pace. And the second thing is that no matter how prescriptive and protective we try to have the rules, there will always be some gray zones and some unclear points. So if we go back to the first point about the different pace between technology and legal, it has been true forever. And already with the early discussions of the EU telecom framework in the 1990s, for example, or with the financial sector regulations that date really back in the 20th century, the fact that the technology evolves faster than the legal or the regulatory discussions has always been raised. And this has been true ever since. But now what we're seeing with artificial intelligence and services like ChatGPT, the spotlight is accelerating in exponential mode. Indeed, as you and I'm sure all our listeners know from previous episodes, the EU have proposed the draft Artificial Intelligence Act in spring 2021. And it's the first horizontal and large spectrum legal attempt to regulate AI worldwide. And even here, I mean, spring 2021 is not very long in legal and regulatory terms, but we see that the recent development and spotlight evolution of ChatGPT, which is of course related with its inclusion into Microsoft services, which is happening as we speak. This pace, the recent evolution shows that in 3 months or 4 months, the scope of the proposed act could become unadapted or irrelevant. So therefore, the members of the European Parliament who are currently dealing with very heavy negotiations because they are trying to unlock the remaining contentious points on the AI Act, they are now also considering adding language generating AI services which are producing outputs into the scope of the AI Act. The big question is where, because as some of you may remember from the previous episodes, the AI Act is looking at high risk AIs or also encompassing general purpose AI. So will ChatGPT like services be listed under the list of high risk AI, or will they stay under the general purpose AI services? This remains to be seen, and it will be one of the next conclusions in the never-ending story of the AI Act.
We are here to see, I hope. And what about the second point you raised with the gray zones?
Well, this is also true in practically all legislations, not only from the EU, because I think one of the major problem and which is very striking also with this situation in AI is that the legal and regulatory works try to come up with rules and prescriptions, which very often are horizontal, aim at being universal, and they want to be product or service oriented or based. So they're in the regulatory world, usually it's working with canvases, right? So you have a set of rules, you had a set of do's and don'ts, and then you eventually have sanctions if you don't respect the rules, and so on and so forth. And this is linked to precise or sectorial, let's say, products or services. But as we are seeing with the AI now, we have no idea of what the further services or potential adds-on will be. And even the underlying principle of AI is that it's artificial intelligence. So you have with the deep learning processes, the machine is able to learn by itself, and it's progressing over time. And so when we start with different inputs, sometimes the output is not going to be what we expected or what we thought it would be. And this is already true with ChatGPT, because it's absolutely fascinating that with one very small question, you've been able to raise this long and very precise and tailor-made information. But with all the tests that have been taking place with ChatGPT, we have also seen in the past few months that it can come up with some biased information. It can also generate false news or fake information. There could be some misleading information too. So, or I think some people even try to make the whole thing bug. So my point here, to come back to the regulatory overview, is that there's a misalignment with the, legal and regulatory canvas of rules, prescriptions, do's, don'ts, the sanctions and the remedies and stuff. And on the other hand, a scope which is by nature and definition movable and tangible, and where we cannot really relate on precise products or precise services. So the whole question, I think, the whole question of ethics in AI is a very valid one, and this should be the underlying principle and discussion based for the whole development of the AI world. Because if we try to really match products, services, AI systems with precise rules, I'm afraid by the time the AI Act comes to an end, it's already going to be outdated and not adapted to the various AI services. So the problem again with AI and ethics is that there may be some gray zones which we haven't thought of, and which are going to come in the clear, let's say, as use cases or as court cases once the regulation is out and we experience that some of the regulation is not adaptable to the outputs. So that's why also many observers at the moment are arguing for a principle-based and a risk-based approach in regulation, rather than a purely formal and prescriptive approach with rules, which is regularly the case. So this could be the way to have a new set of rules, let's say, or a new set of mindset perfectly applicable also to other key sectors for our listeners who are active in business information. For example, open finance. So I think we're at the very beginning of some changes, also not only in technology but in the way we try to apprehend technology and put in place some key principles and key boundaries, but try to maybe unlock a little bit this question of canvases and very prescriptive rules related to one product or service.
Challenging times ahead, but it's always a pleasure to count on you in this podcast. And well, let's see where these and other technologies developments take us. So, see you soon in the FEBIS podcast for more relevant content in the regulatory affairs field.
Thank you very much, and see you soon.
We would love to hear your feedback and thoughts for future episodes. You have been listening to the FEBIS podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for listening.